Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, an activist, human rights lawyer, and a former member of the House of Representatives.
Kailangan po ang aktivista para mga lampag doon sa Kongreso at kailangan panahon ngayon ng isang aktivista at makabayan doon sa Senado.
Hoping to win on his second attempt to land a Senate seat.
Hindi na dungisan ng anumang bahid ng korupsyon o kriminalidad o ano pa mang gawain ng mga public officials na nakakasama sa bayan.
Authored bills increasing SSS pension and compensation for martial law victims.
Nakampi po nila ako sa Kongreso sa mahabang panahon at sa mahabang panahon din yon. Ako po'y hindi kinikitaan ng pagbitiw sa prinsipyo ng mamamayang Pilipino.
Opposed some policies of the present administration, but can he work with them? Senatorial candidate and former Bayan Muna Representative Neri Colmenares joins us live. Thank you for joining us. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Cherry Mercado. Fuel companies implement a hefty oil price hike. This is the 7th price increase since the beginning of the year. Early Tuesday morning, gasoline and diesel prices went up by 1 peso and 45 centavos per liter. Meanwhile, kerosene prices increased by 1 peso and 35 centavos per liter. Since January, pump prices have increased 7 times and went down only twice. Overall, gasoline prices have gone up by 3 pesos and 65 centavos for diesel, by 4 pesos and 45 centavos, and kerosene by 3 pesos and 40 centavos. Officials say another round of fuel price hikes may lead to higher costs of basic commodities. Makoy Popioko tells us how consumers are coping.
Housewife Minerva Bernardo has been shopping in the supermarket for over 40 years. She says changes in prices of goods will not escape her critical eye. Since February, she noticed some basic goods have become more costly.
Coffee, tsaka mga dilata. Katulad yung sa sardines, siguro mga 1 or 2 pesos na difference. Medyo malaki na yon.
Daisy Galvez says the same thing. To cope with the rising prices of commodities, she has to let go of some items that she used to buy.
Katulad halimbawa ng mga Fabricon, so ang bibilin ko na lang, katulad nito, yung Ariel, meron kasing with Fabricon na nito. So yung Fabricon na Downy or yung ibang brand, hindi na ako bibili nun. Halos ang bibiling ko na lang yung magkasama na siya para at least mas makatipid ako.
Trade and industry officials announced last week an increase of as much as 1 peso and 30 centavos in the suggested retail prices of some basic necessities and prime commodities, including some canned goods, processed meat, dairy products, and condiments. Secretary Ramon Lopez explains, after a thorough evaluation, the agency has allowed the price hike due to higher cost of raw materials in the world market and peso's devaluation. Before that, prices of basic commodities had been on hold since the last quarter of last year.
Hindi naman talaga sila mag-adjust at saka may choice pa rin ng consumer kasi isa o dalawang brand lang ang nag-request mag-increase na bawat category. No? So, yung all the other brands, hindi naman nag-increase.
But with the steady rise in prices of fuel products, it looks like more grocery items will become more expensive soon. On Monday, some oil companies have announced another hefty price hike of at least 1 peso and 35 centavos per liter. The president of a truckers group, Teddy Hervasio, says the successive fuel price increases have cost them losses. His group is now proposing a 300 to 500 peso service charge increase among manufacturers and distributors.
Doon sa susunod na regular board meeting namin, one of the agenda is the rate increase. So, rate increase relative to Trilo, yung taxes na pinatong plus yung increases pa ng fuel.
If this happens, a supermarket group says the additional charges in logistics will trickle down to the prices of goods. Now, he advises consumers to explore their options while other product prices remain steady.
We have a choice pa rin. Pag nagtaas ang isang brand, we can shift to another brand or another size or a substitute product, di ba? Ngayon, kung lahat nagtaas, we don't have a choice.
But consumers like Daisy and Minerva who work on a limited budget say even their options are now running out.
Wala tayong magagawa eh.
Sana medyo bumaba uli, ganon.
Makoy Popioko, CNN, Philippines.
A law allowing unlimited entry of rice from other countries has yet to take effect. But this early, some markets are already selling imported rice at cheaper prices. Arjelen Fule tells us how this will affect local farmers.
Melvin Bulala owns a small canteen in Novaliches, Quezon City. He goes to Commonwealth Market where imported rice is available. He says he prefers this quality for his business.
Pang fried rice po sa kantin. Kasi umaalsa siya, kaya yun may imported kasi umaalsa. May dumadami siya.
Ahead of the implementation of a law allowing unlimited entry of foreign rice, retailers at Commonwealth Market already sell imported produce for 34 to 39 pesos per kilogram. These are cheaper than local varieties which are sold for 37 to 60 pesos per kilogram. But retailers say some still prefer local rice even as there are now more choices in the market.
Hindi rin nagiging matumal. Kahit na medyo mas mataas, mas gusto pa rin nila rin ng iba, ng ibang tao, ang gusto pa rin nila yung ating sarili.
Maraming bumibili sa dito kasi yung mahihirap, diba, hindi naman nila abot yung presyo, retail yun. Tapos yung sa mga local, wholesale kasi ang bentahan.
What will be the situation for local retailers and farmers once rice imports flood the market? Philippine Farmers Advisory Board spokesperson William Saratao says local rice is more expensive now as the stock was brought by traders from farmers when prices were still high at the time. Saratao admits cheaper imported rice prices will have an impact on many farmers.
Nakikita po namin na sa susunod na cropping, mababa po yung presyo ng palay. Kaya ngayon pa lang, nagpupulong na kami at hahanap na kami ng mga pwede naming ipalit sa presyo na sa pananim na palay. Paliit yung magtatanim ng palay, yun namang ating ini-import, lalaki ng lalaki.
Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura President Rosendo Saw pushes for strict implementation of tariff on all imported rice.
Ang question lang natin is in spite of dati sinasabi nila may minimum access volume, hindi mapaglag yung market, in spite of that, nakikita natin na ang dami na pumasok na bigas. So, ito is yung iba, wala pang taripa dahil pinapasok ng NFA. Kailangan lahat na pumasok may babayaran na tarif.
Jeline Fule, CNN Philippines.
A human rights advocate and a former lawmaker is joining senatorial hopefuls in the midterm elections. His advocacies include improving the lives of senior citizens and the labor sector. A critical voice of the present administration questions the legality of the martial law in Mindanao, the implementation of the tax reform law, and even the ongoing Manila Bay rehabilitation, among others. He also exposed billions of uncollected SSS contributions, but does he have a fighting chance in the highly contested race? Let's go now straight to the source of the story. Former Bayan Muna Party List Representative Neri Colmenares joins us. Good morning, Congressman Neri.
Good morning, Cherry.
So, sabi mo, kailangan ng aktivista sa Senado para may mga lampag, no?
Yes.
Now, it's already the thick of the campaign. Kamusta ang kampanya ngayon ng isang Neri Colmenares? You haven't made it to the top 12 in the survey yet.
Yes, although I think it's one of the best, the elections with the best chances for us, no? In the first place, may recognition na ang taong bayan na minsan kailangan kalampagin na pag tumaas ang presyo ng langis, kailangan mga lampag ka para bumaba. O yung SSS pension, for that matter, kalampag rin yun na kaya siya naibigay. So, kailangan ng kalampag sa Senado. Secondly, kaya sabi ko, it's a great chance for senatorial aspirants like me. Kasi very clear ang issue ngayon, Cherry. Meaning to say, ang tanong sa mga senatorial candidates, are you really for train law or not? Do you agree with the administration's handling of China in the West Philippine Sea? Do you agree with the AJK? Do you agree with the ENDO, contractualization policy of government? Kasi ako, I can say it straight to the face of the voters. Tumutol kami sa train law. We in fact filed a petition in the Supreme Court to declare it unconstitutional. tutol kami sa panghihimasok ng China sa West Philippine Sea. Tingin namin yung contractualisasyon na nanatili, mali ang patakaran ng administrasyon. While the administration candidates cannot actually counter us on that because they have to toe the line of the administration. So I guess because of these clear issues, napakalaki ng chances ng mga kandidatong like me who are independent.
So nakakatulong din na siguro yung administrasyon ngayon o mismong si Pangulong Duterte, diretso doon sa kanyang mga stand. I am for example, Chinese workers in the Philippines.
Yes,
Ganyan.
kaya very sharp ang issue
Oo,
agad. And
oo.
even, we had a debate before and yung mga administration candidates, nung sila'y sumasama pa sa debate, and they know for a fact na yung position nila sa China, tagilid yun. So, kailang they have to follow it. Plus, si President Duterte, very sharp din yung pagkalagay niya ng issue.
Pero halimbawang you'll be lucky, no? On your second try, mahalal ka bilang
Yes.
isang senador. Ano ang aasahan namin sa isang Neri Colmenares? Ito ba, palagi mo bang, are you always going to be against the government, what the government policies will be, or what will be?
Well, actually, it was asked of me by a friend actually. Sabi niya, lahat naman ng presidente. Sabi ko, firstly, lahat ba ng presidente, may presidente bang hindi nagkamali sa policy? Sabi niya, actually, wala naman. So, pag may mali, you have to oppose it. Secondly, pag tama naman, ako naman, halimbawa, binigay ni President Duterte ang 2,000 dagdag sa SSS pension ng batas ko, but he gave 1,000. Thank you. I publicly said thank you naman dyan. Pero pag mali naman, mali. Ang function kasi, Cherry, ng Kongreso, whether Senate or House, is checks and balance Kaya hindi ako kapareho ng 90% ng mga congressman na pag sino ang presidente, ililipat doon. Kasi mawawala ang function mo to checks and balance. So parang, sabi nga ng iba, I may not agree with you, Neri, but I really want you there in the Senate kasi kailangan naman ng ganong independence doon sa institusyon ng Senado.
And this is going to be your role. Oo, yan ang sinasabi mong pwedeng
and of
maging.
course, the platform, the bill, tanggalin yung excise tax ng train, tanggalin yung VAT sa kuryente, tubig at langis, contractualisasyon, dapat walang patumpik-tumpik, no? And contractualization, very exceptional yung, yung contractual. Ang rule is regular ang manggagawa, increase wages, tapos national. Hindi lang yung NCR mataas, mababa sa Visayas at Mindanao. Dapat national minimum wage. Those are the platform core issues that I'm going to fight for in the Senate.
So sisingilin pa rin yung pinangako ni Pangulong Duterte when he was
Definitely,
campaigning
marami siyang
about
pangako na hindi natupad,
contractualization.
So,
Sabi niya, isa na lang daw, yung traffic na lang daw sa EDSA.
not true. Contractualization, di na-deliver. Nangako siya ng libreng pamamahagi ng lupa sa magsasaka, not delivered. Nangako siyang, can you imagine, bumaba daw ang krimen sa Pilipinas when in fact thousands ang namatay in the last few years. Korupsyon, nandyan pa rin, Cherry. Marami, not true. Marami siyang pangako.
Sinasabi ni Pangulong Duterte, okay daw siya sa mga bumabati ko sa kanya basta Pilipino. Do you feel this as one of those who are criticizing him?
What did the Chief Justice say? The Chief Justice merely said, Mr. President, huwag mo na ipatawag yung mga judges sa Malacanang. May separation of powers tayo. Pina-impeach, kwa-waranto, lahat ginawa sa Chief Justice Sereno. Anong nangyari sa mga oppositionist na I mean, what did the church say to President Duterte? Very courteous naman. Mr. President, EJK, human rights. President Duterte can dish it, but he cannot take it. In front of the public, he will call you gago ka, gunggong ka, kriminal ka, your God is stupid, everything. But when somebody says something, he can take it. Imbestigahan sa NBI, pahuli ka sa police, co-warranto, impeachment, tanggalan ka ng amnesty. Bisan, there are many activists who died na under the Duterte regime.
Which is what I'm about to ask you. To what extent do you think can he not take it? Is it to the point of endangering the lives of those who oppose him?
Yes, for me, it's clear, even for activists like us. Marami ng miyembro ng mga people's organization, human rights advocates ang namatay. Pare, abogado.
What are the numbers? Is it more than the previous presidents, previous administrations?
The EJK under this administration is huge number.
But not the EJK, the ones who are opposing him.
Marami na rin Cherry, marami na rin. Either kulong, trump-up charges. I mean, sa Turo Campo, only the children asked for his help na hinaharas kami ng mga kafgu dito. He went in, saved, mas may kaso siyang child trafficking. Can you imagine that? Just because she opposed, I mean, Maria Ressa, if she were all praises to President Duterte and Rappler were all praises to Duterte, do you think it would have happened to her? Baka dinismiss pa ng DOJ yung libel case niya. So for me, there is intolerance of dissent in the administration.
We have one more topic that's very recent, no? The oil price hike. But before that, this is The Source on CNN Philippines. Still to come, we get to know his stand on national issues, including the recent oil price hike, same-sex unions, and the influx of Chinese workers in the country. Former Representative Neri Colmenares will still be with us after the break. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, former Bayan Muna Party List Representative Neri Colmenares. Let's go back to our discussion. So ngayong umaga lang, malaki na naman yung pagtaas ng presyo ng crudo. Oo. And you were saying,
Yes, you see, Cherry, ang solution talaga dyan, kaya government cannot say na, we can't do anything, tumataas ang presyo ng crudo international market. First, pwedeng isuspend yung excise tax ng train law. Second, dapat i-repeal yung VAT sa sa kuryente, tubig at langis. Government can do that. Super majority sila sa Congress eh. Ito ang cruelty ng VAT, Cherry, ha? Every time na tumataas ang presyo ng langis, lumalaki ang VAT na pera ng gobyerno. So parang tayo na naghihirap, pag tumataas ang langis, ang gobyerno tiba-tiba. Kasi tumataas yung 12% VAT nila eh. So that's the second thing. Third, unbundling.
Pero doon daw kinukuha ang pera para sa proyekto.
Alam nyo, palagi kong sinasabi yan na ang budget na yan, may pondo dyan. You don't need to impose additional taxes on us. That's why may problema sila when debating with us in Congress. Kasi we can pinpoint in the budget saan ang mga proyektong walang kakwento-kwenta, mga bilyon-bilyon para sa mga, sabi ko nga, tulay na walang ilog eh. Meron dyan pork barrel. There are a lot of sources of
You're
funds.
still asking for debate. For a debate with the other, with the administration
ang debate
candidates?
there are two ways here. Debate, you go into the debates scheduled by TV and media firms. Diba? Of course, ang lahat naman na nasa oposisyon nandyan naman sa debate, but the administration is not there. So sabi namin, ang sabi nila, we don't need to kasi siguro, I don't know, they wish to avoid the question. So, dapat lang pumunta sila sa mga debate na hino-hold ng mga media firms.
Do you personally wish to debate with them?
With the administration. It's not even personal. It's for the people's interest. The people need to know where you stand in the West Philippine Sea. And if you can't defend your position na dapat lang kamkami ng China ang West Philippine Sea, it's your position. At least, pag bumoto ang tao, alam niya na ang hugpong at ang PDP laban para pala pasukin ng China ang Pilipinas. Whereas ako, at ang iba pa siguro, laban kami doon, tutol kami na ibigay sa China ang ating lupain. So, basically, that's for the service of the people naman eh.
So definitely, you consider yourself an opposition candidate.
Definitely.
But
because,
do you align yourself with the Ocho Derecho, for example?
Well, we have common advocacies ngayon. No? I mean, human rights, West Philippine Sea, di ba? Cha-cha. We have common issues. Bagamat hindi naman ako part ng slate, I mean, the main problem here today is...
Sabagay, 8 lang sila, 12.
Correct.
Hindi ba?
Correct. So, and mas issue-based kasi ang takbo ko. And I'm sure, takbo rin nila. It's not a political party thing. So, kahit di ako 8 derecho, many of them also support me, sabi nila, Suabe ang 9 or Lucky 9. Because it's an issue-based. And voters are now transcending political party divides. So
that's a very good way to look at it, no? If you say that voters are already looking into the issue. Sabi kasi ng ibang mga pag-aaral, we're still very much personality-based.
Malaki yan, Cherry, ang personality-based. Kaya sinabi ko, itong election na to is a great time for people like me to win. Kasi ngayon, nagtatanong na rin ng tao, itong train law na to. Parang I don't care kung artista ka, I don't care kung gwapo ka. Pag nag-yes ka sa train law, pag nag-yes ka na ibigay sa China ang ating lupa, I may not vote for you. Doon mo transcend na, Cherry eh. And
Speaking of gwapo ka, ang lahi ng mga Colmenares sa mga gwapo at magaganda. You're apparently related to Angel Locsin and another former
yes,
beauty contestant.
Pardon?
A beauty contestant who was
si Jewel Pimentel. Yung usual na tanong sa akin dyan, Cherry, ano naman ang nangyari sa'yo? Ba't maliit ka? Ang
Pero in fairness to you, you're not even using that. You're not using
naman, yeah.
Or are they going to endorse you?
We will discuss that. And, ang problema ko naman kasi, kahit na may endorsement, hindi ko naman malabas sa TV ads kasi wala akong pera for the spots eh. But yeah, so yeah, ang sabi ko na lang dyan, may lolo, Colmenares was 6'1", my grandmother was 4'8". Dito ako sa grandmother sumunod. But yeah, talo ako dyan pag ang basis ng eleksyon ay artista o artistahin kasi I don't fit into that ano eh. But yeah, basically there is this sense na sa taong bayan, ang hirap ng buhay. Sino kayang responsable dito? So I guess that's how we will win this because of this disenchantment of the people. The economics yan eh. Stomach talaga ang politika in the end. And I also deliver a platform of independence. So, so doon lang naman sa oil price hike we did mention kanina. I'd like to stress this. One more thing I demanded when I was a congressman during the committee hearings last year, unbundle ng oil companies ang prices nila. What does it mean? Parang Meralco rin ba? I mean, it's not the panacea. Hindi naman yung solusyon. Pag-repeal ng oil deregulation lang ang solusyon dito eh. But yung i-unbundle nyo, sabihin nyo magkano ang oil price sa mundo, magkano ang freightage nyo, magkano ang insurance, magkano ang delivery, magkano ang depot, magkano ang profit. Hindi yan nilalabas.
I-itemize nila kung ano yung cost, kung bakit naging ganun yung final price.
And because of our persistence, ang DOE, nag-draft na siya ng circular. More than a year ago. Ang nagtakahan namin, hindi pa rin nilalabas. Eh ngayon lumalabas sila, tumaas kasi tumaas ang oil price hike. Why don't you show us the unbundled, alam ba, 50 pesos yung langis. Ano dyan ang component ng tax, ano ang profit, ano ang freight.
Sino ang dapat maglalabas nito?
DOE.
Yung unbundling?
DOE.
Nagpautos sila, naglabas sila ng circular. And
Hindi
yet
nila
sila
nilabas,
rin...
nag-draft sila ng circular, but they're not...
internal circular.
No, it's a circular for all companies. You
All
follow
gas
this. Dapat
companies.
sabihin mo unbundled na price mo. In fact, may second component pa ito. Dapat after you raise prices, you face the media and the people, you answer questions. May component pa siya, may press conference. So sabi namin, DOE, ba't di ka naglalabas? Malaki ba ang lobby dyan sa'yo? Did the oil companies pressure you not to issue this unbundling? Kasi mahalata mo ngayon kung nag-over. Sabi ko sa DOE, how can you ever know na may overpricing? Hindi nyo alam ang presyo mismo ng 1 litrong diesel. You just say, oh, oil price. So how do you know may predatory pricing? If you don't know kung how much it costs to produce 1 liter, you wouldn't know if 53 pesos is overcharging or not.
On that note, we'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. So, you're still watching The Source on CNN Philippines, and our guest today is former Bayan Muna Party List Representative Neri Colmenares. Let's talk about the SSS. You've always been, of course, as a labor representative, you've always been very emphatic about this.
SSS, when batas ko, 2,000 dagdag sa SSS pension. I asked SSS during the committee hearings, marami na kaming aral dyan. Talaga bang mababankrupt kayo? Sabi ng SSS, actually, no, kasi taasan na naman namin ng kontribusyon. I was very reasonable, Cherry. Sabi ko, let's discuss increase in contribution, but later, last resort, una mo na ayusin yung collection nyo. I mean, if you're 13.5 billion pesos a year, you cannot collect in premium. I mean, 36 million members ang SSS, Cherry. At ang nagbabayad lang o nasisingil lang nila from the employers, 15 million. So saan ang puntang 21
More than
million?
half.
Yes. So,
and inamin nila na tama yung statistics na ito.
Hindi lang nila ma-explain kung saan ang 21 million. Ibig sabihin, may mga employers na kumakaltas ng premium, hindi nire-remit. O sabi namin, singilin nyo kaya muna yan. Bakit kayo mag-imbento ng bagong kontribusyon? Hindi nyo nga makolek yung lumang kontribusyon.
And what did they say to this? Why do you think can they not collect?
They don't really answer. Well, they don't really answer that kasi hindi nila ina-admit na may mataas silang collection rate inefficiency. Sabi nila...
But nasa COA yan, hindi ba? Makikita yan sa COA.
Yes. So, yun lang basic question. 36 million, 15 million na kukolek mo, and you're going to say 98% ang collection rate efficiency mo? I mean...
Okay, I'm going to ask you now about the challenges in the campaign. What is the biggest challenge in the campaign?
Well, the biggest challenge, of course, for people like me is independent kasi and walang resources. Ang advantage ko naman, Cherry, ang makabayan kasi, Bayan Muna, Gabriela, ACT Teachers Party List, Kabataan, Anak Pawis, we have chapters all over the country. So everywhere I go naman, may lalandingan ako. And of course, the issues I bring are, talagang damdam ng tao bayan. Pero challenge po yung walang resources. For example, I just read the TV ads and I stagger. Hindi ko kaya to even 1/4. Tapos sabi namin, SOCMED na lang is a challenge. Pero mahal na rin ang SOCMED. Pero may advantage kami doon because of our thousands of members na nagso-SOCMED ng Facebook. At least I can campaign in the social media without spending a lot because these are the people who would campaign for me even without pay. So may challenge, may opportunities. I just have to maneuver doon sa mga problems na yan.
Former Bayan Muna Party List Representative Neri Colmenares, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Nabawasan na tayo ng oras, but I would like to ask you rin sana about the fake party list that we want to weed out of Congress. But I guess that's for the next session, another day. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. This is The Source. I'm Neri Mercado. You're watching CNN Philippines.